couple decided to rent a secluded cabin deep in the mountains for a peaceful getaway. The cabin was rustic but charming, and they enjoyed the solitude until nightfall. Strange noises, like scratching, faint whispers, began echoing around the cabin. Thinking it was wildlife, they brushed it off. But when they found strange handprints on the windows, they became unnerved. The final straw was hearing heavy footsteps on the porch, yet seeing no one when they checked. They left immediately, later learning that the cabin was built on land where settlers had mysteriously disappeared. A century ago, many who stayed there claimed to hear their lingering spirits. While on a road trip, a family checked into a small, dusty hotel in a remote desert town. The hotel seemed dated, with creaky floors and dim lighting. That night, the daughter heard scratching at her window and glimpsed what looked like a figure lurking outside. The next morning, she found claw marks on the window frame. Hotel staff dismissed it, but a local informed them of a legend about a spirit that wandered the desert, scratching at windows to lure people out. They left immediately, unsettled and disturbed by the eerie coincidence. A group of friends decided to explore a remote island, reachable only by boat, for a weekend camping trip. The first night was peaceful, but on the second night, they began hearing drums and chanting from the depths of the forest. No one else was supposed to be on the island, and their radio was suddenly filled with static. Trying to leave the next day, they discovered their boat was untied and drifted away. They were eventually rescued by the Coast Guard, who informed them that local tribes avoided the island, believing it to be cursed and inhabited by spirits. While staying at an old inn in Scotland, a solo traveler kept hearing the sound of a woman crying in the room next door. She thought someone was in distress and reported it to the front desk. To her shock, they told her the room was empty, as it had been since a tragic incident years ago involving a woman who'd passed away there. Each night, guests report hearing her weeping, as though she's reliving her final moments. Disturbed, the traveler left early, unable to sleep from the haunting sounds. On a camping trip in a national park, a couple noticed a strange man wandering around their campsite at dusk. He stared at them without saying a word, then disappeared into the trees. That night, heard rustling outside their tent and saw shadows moving around. They found strange footprints around their tent in the morning. When they reported it, rangers mentioned similar encounters and warned them, leave. Some people said the figure was a local man who vanished years ago, his spirit haunting the forest where he was last seen.